Yeah, we're also just going to do a kind of a quick review of the tar spot situation from 2021 and what I call kind of the lessons learned. So we definitely learned a lot last year. We learned some do's, some don'ts, but it's a big issue for a lot of area of the state last year. And I think depending on 2022's weather, it could be an issue or it could be kind of not an issue. But I think we got to be prepared as growers to not get caught like a lot of growers did this past year and really had some huge yield hits because of not being prepared. Well, number one, I think you've got to have at least a fungicide in your budget because you don't want to get caught all of a sudden in end of June saying, okay, I think I got to spray a fungicide, and you don't have a plan financially for it or you don't have access to product. So I think it's got to be a plan that it's in your plan right now. Number two then is going to be watching the weather. So the humidity levels are going to be a big key to this. What do humidity levels look like in comparison to other years? So I like to always use benchmark years when you talk about disease. So 2021 is now our benchmark year of humidity levels. So if we watch humidity levels that are close to 2021, that's going to be an indication we're probably going to have troubles. If it tracks more like 2020, which we had a lot of inoculum, at least in the southern part of the state for it, but we just were too hot, too dry, too low humidity levels that it just never got going early enough to cause much yield issues. So we kind of got our benchmark years to track. We see now current year, how do we track in between those? Yeah, I think that, one thing that we learned last year is hybrid's a big deal. So like if you're in what we call a high risk area, so if you're doing any corn on corn or you're in an irrigated situation, you don't want to go out without a hybrid we already know something about. That was one thing that was frustrating last year for some growers. They did everything right. They had the fungicide. They had the right type of product. The timeliness was perfect. They sprayed it, did everything right, but the hybrid was still wrong. They still lost. So hybrid selection is a big deal. And most of the seed dealers now have a good handle on which ones did well, which ones didn't. So if we're going into a high potential pressure situation, we need to make sure that's dealt with from the get-go.